Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Tuks World. And for quite a few weeks I have been so busy in my life that I have not been able to upload any new podcasts or videos regarding the Dharma, and I'm so sorry for that. So today we are going to be talking about a topic called motive or motivation behind doing Dharma. May it be Buddha Dharma, may it be Christian, may it be Muslim, may it be any sorts of Dharma, but having a good motivation, having a good motive behind the Dharma has a very huge impact when you are doing a Dharma. And what makes an action good or bad, not how it looks, nor whether it is big or small, but the good or evil motivation behind it. And that's why motive behind doing a Dharma is a very important topic and a very important thing in itself. So having a correct motivation behind doing a Dharma is a really important thing, and I've already talked about it a little bit in my previous videos, but it's on Nepali, so only the person who speaks in Nepali or at least understands Nepali, they can at least understand it. So I just thought and I was just telling to myself that the vast amount of audience that I got usually speaks in English or in Hindi, and so little in Nepali. So I just thought to myself, and I said to myself that let's do the podcast on English so that I can teach you a lot about Dharma in a language that you are comfortable with. So even though I don't have a good vocabulary in English, and I'm really sorry for that, but I hope you just bear with me, okay? So first of all, when we are talking about Dharma, there's one thing that we all should accept it, okay? Like literally we have to accept it, especially in Buddha Dharma, that when you are just going to a teacher place and gaining a lot of knowledge regarding Dharma, at that time there are some vows that you have to just accept it inside your mind. That is a tantric way, but if you do it, then it will be a very beneficial thing to you, especially for your mindset. And that things are like believing the teacher is the Buddha, the teacher is the Dharma, the teacher is also the Sangha, the teacher is the one who accomplishes everything, the teacher is glorious Vajradhara, the teacher is glorious Guru Padma Sambhava, okay? And just believing in these things, it has a very huge impact. If you don't believe me, then just, go to a place, go to any teacher you like, and just make yourself believe in this thing and go and gain some knowledge. It will be a very beneficial thing to you on your spiritual journey. A lot of people, just neglect being spiritual, but going on a spiritual journey is an adventure in itself. It's a very amazing adventure, and me just explaining it to you just like any story won't be any help of you. So if you do follow a spiritual journey and do meditation and recite mantras or prayers, I wish you very best of luck on your spiritual journey, and I hope you reach the place you always wanted to. So yeah, let's start today's things, okay? The main thing when you are at a certain place, okay, and the teacher is just preaching you about the Dharma, at that time you should think, okay, the motive behind Dharma, okay? The motive that you should think is like this. You should always think of yourself as someone who is sick, of the Dharma as the remedy, of your spiritual friend as a skillful doctor, and of diligent practice as the way to recovery. I will say it again so you can just grasp it. You should think of yourself as someone who is sick, okay, suffering from a great disease, okay, and of the Dharma as a remedy, as a medicine, and of your spiritual friend as a skillful doctor. Your spiritual friend may be your teacher. Just think of them like they are a very skillful doctor. They are some sort of a specialist in their own field, okay? And your diligent practice is the way to recover, from those diseases, from those sickness that you have. So there's a harsh truth that we have to bear with, and that is that we are sick. From beginning of the time, we are sick. In this immense ocean of suffering that we call samsara, we have been tormented by the illness of the three poisons and their fruit, the three kind of sufferings. When people are seriously ill, they go to consult a good doctor. They follow the doctor's advice, take whatever medicine he prescribes, and do all they can to overcome the disease and get well. In the same way, you should also cure yourself of the disease called karma, negative emotions, and suffering by following the prescription of that experienced doctor, the authentic teacher, and by taking the medicine of the dharma. So following a teacher's instruction without doing what he says is like disobeying a doctor who has just prescribed you a great amount of medication to treat your disease, okay? So he has just given you a medicine to cure your disease. But if you're not obeying that doctor and not having your medicine on time, it's just like, even though you have a huge amount of medication or medicines beside your bed or in any other place, and even the doctor has said to you to please have those medicine on time, and you should have it in a certain way so that your diseases can be cured. And you being someone who is not taking that medicine, just like the doctor has given you instruction, it's like saying, no, I won't be doing these practices, and not following the correct instruction of a teacher or a doctor. And that way, even though you have a knowledge about certain things, and if you don't put it into practice, then you will not reach anywhere. Like, seriously, you will not reach anywhere. It's like, you know how to drive a car. You have a car. You are sitting in driver's seat, but you are not driving that car, and you're just, telling yourself that I want to reach at that point. For example, if you are in Delhi, okay, inside a car, sitting in the driver's seat, and you want to go to Manali, okay, even though you know how to drive a car, even though you have a license for it, but also you are saying that I will not be driving this car, but this car has to take me to that place called Manali, okay. So that way you will not reach anywhere. You will be stuck on that place forever. People usually assume that just by listening to dharma, they are doing dharma. But, it's not completely true. Because dharma has three aspects that you have to keep it in mind if you really want to do dharma. First thing, motive behind doing dharma. Okay? And second thing, that whenever or wherever you are, when a teacher is preaching you about dharma, you have to listen it properly without being distracted by any worldly things. For example, you can, just scroll your Instagram, Facebook feed, and when you are listening to your teacher preaching about dharma, at that time you should not recite mantras also. You should not be using any malas also. You should be totally focused. Your mind should be totally focused. Your ears should be open, and your mind should be active at that moment, and listen to that teachings properly. And third and most important aspect that will help you to do the dharma is putting it into practice, what you have listened, what you have into practice. Okay, so these three things, you can say that these three things are the main foundation of any dharma. First, the motive behind doing dharma. Secondly, you have to listen to it. Thirdly, you have to put it into practice. Let me tell you a small story from my own life, and this is about that time. I guess it was on the day of Buddha's birthday. We call it Buddha Purnima or Vaisakha, something like that, yeah. So, on the Buddha Purnima, there's a place called Soring Basti in Sikkim. And at the Soring Basti, there was a small, cute monastery over there. And the people of that monastery, or the, committee of that monastery, they called upon me and asked me humbly to come at their monastery on the day of Buddha Purnima, on the day the Buddha was born, and to, just do some prayers and to give them some knowledge on the dharma, to preach them about dharma. And so I went at their place, at their monastery. Half a day we did prayers to the Supreme Teacher Buddha. And after that, I think for 1 or 2 hours, I preached about Buddha Dharma. And when I was preaching, I usually do is, just ask a random question to any random people, so that I can have a small amount of idea, like how much knowledge these people have, those who are sitting in front of me. Because if they have a certain type of capacity, then I will be giving them a certain type of knowledge. But if they don't even understand the basics of Buddhism, then I have to start it from basic and give some simple teachings. Okay, and so that's why I just asked to many people that, what do you think when Buddha or Buddhism comes in your mind? You can think it yourself also, and just comment down below and say, what do you think when you hear the word called Buddhism? So I asked to a lot of people. You can say to everybody who were present at that place, at that moment. So there were so many answers, okay? And I can say that all of those answers were incorrect. And there were some really funny answers also. And by that question, I got to know that the people in front of me, they don't really know what Buddhism is, it's in itself. So how to give them the basic knowledge of Buddhism? I was just telling it to myself. So I told to them, when Buddhism comes in your mind, the only thing that should come in your mind is peaceful. The peace. Because in this time, in this world right now, if you go abroad and say Buddhism, people will mostly associate it with being peaceful. Because Buddhism is a way of peacefulness. And Dalai Lama himself has said that his religion is peaceful. His religion is being peace. So Buddhism is peace and Buddhism is peacefulness. So that's why whenever Buddhism comes in your mind, at least in my mind, I think it has a peaceful thing, and the world also associates it with a peace or a peaceful thing. So I just want to know your own thoughts on this, that what does come in your mind when you think about Buddhism? And I would love to, just read your comments down below. And and after that, I asked to the core member the core committee of that monastery a small question about the Panchasila. Okay, in Sikkim, there's a thing that if you follow these 5 Panchasilas, then you are a true Buddhist, and if you don't follow these 5 Panchasilas, then you are not quite a true Buddhist, And these things are, just going over in Sikkim for, I guess, 6 to 7 years right now. And I just thought to myself, and I said to myself, I mean, these people, at least they know some 1 or 2 silas. So I asked them that, do you guys know what Panchasila is? And if you know what Panchasila is, then please describe it to me. And they were just saying each other's faces, and they were just, talking. And after 5 minutes, a person stand up, and I can't tell his name to you guys, but those who were present at that moment, you guys know. So he stood up, he told me all about the Panchasila, a very beautiful describe, he said it so beautifully. I was thinking, that this person certainly knows Buddhism quite well, and he must follow and he must practice these 5 Panchasilas. And suddenly I remembered, oh no, these people might know some things about Buddhism, but I can, just bet against anyone that the one who is describing about the Panchasila right now, he does not follow this Panchasila. I thought to myself, okay, I was just, telling it to myself inside my heart, talking about it. And soon he finished describing about the Panchasila, and he was quite proud and also quite happy. I can see it in his face that he was quite happy about it, that he could answer those things, and he was quite proud of himself that he had that knowledge. Okay, so I asked him that, wow, I actually said to him that, wow, Panchasila, it's great, And I asked to him that, in these 5 Panchasila that you know of, do you practice it? First question. Second, have you told about these 5 Panchasilas to your family member, to your children, to your wife, to your friends, so they can have this knowledge that you have, and they can also practice the Panchasila. Have you told it? And he said to me that, he was being quite shy at that moment, to be true. He was being quite shy at that moment, and he felt quite ashamed also. I can just see it in his face. And he told to me, being shy and a little bit of guilty, and he said to me that, Tulkula, I certainly do know the 5 Panchasilas, but I have never practiced it in my whole life. And why did I ask that person? That question is, inside the Panchasila, there are certain things like you should not have meat, you should not have, just alcohol and those things. So he drinks, he eats meat certainly, and there are certain things that he does. I can't tell it to you fully, but yeah, I do know that he does not practice the Panchasila, but he does have that knowledge. Okay, so that way, even though he had the knowledge of 5 Panchasila, he never practiced that 5 Panchasila. So just think that he had the knowledge, he had the time to practice it, but he did not practice it. So what does that knowledge becomes inside his mind? It's just a trash inside his mind. Why? Because even though he had that knowledge, he never practiced it. So, that knowledge sitting in his mind, did it become useful to him? No. It was just a thing that was hidden inside his mind somewhere deep, and it has not come out of that place until now. I can guarantee that thing. So yeah, just like that thing, if you have a lot of medicine and you are sick, you will of course have that medicine, but if you don't have those medicine, then you will get sick, and for example, I will give you another example. We all eat our foods, right? We go to sabji mandis and we buy a lot of vegetables. Some of you guys eat meats also. You guys buy meat also, right? So when we bring them to home or house, we usually preserve them by keeping it inside a fridge, or if you don't have a fridge, then we just keep it somewhere, a good place that we usually keep vegetable. And if we don't eat that particular vegetable before it expires, then that vegetable will just be a waste of money. Am I correct or not? Think upon it, okay? And just like that, if you go a certain place where there is a preaching, there is a teaching about dharma, you go, sit, and you listen to it for 1 or 2 hours, and after gaining that knowledge, and 1 or 2 things about Buddhism at that time, but when you come back at home, you will not practice that thing, or you will never ever, just you don't practice those things, then it's just a waste of your time. It will be a waste of your teacher's time, and you will never be able to practice, or you will never be able to do dharma in a right way, and you will never be doing a dharma. Okay, so just going and donating a small amount of your money, donating your clothes, those are all a good karma. Okay, those are all a good karma which will help you in your spiritual field also, in your daily life also. But to do dharma, okay, to do correct dharma, as I've said before, you have to keep 3 things in your mind. 1, motive behind your dharma. 2, you have to listen to it properly. 3, after listening to it properly, you have to apply it in your life and you have to practice it. Because Buddha Dharma, the Buddhism, is incomplete without a practice. Okay? And if you are a true believer, a true Buddhist, and if you tell to yourself that you are a Buddhist, you follow Buddhism, then I request to you humbly, from the deepest part of my heart, to please practice the dharma. Please listen to what your teacher says, and just think about a good motive behind doing your dharma. People these days go and distribute clothes, they give some monies, they put it on social media. I'm not against it, but usually what we do is that we are giving someone clothes, we are donating things, we are doing good work, but the motive behind it is that we want to be famous. You might deny it, but just look yourself in front of mirror. You will not be able to deny yourself. Even though you will deny my question, you will not be able to deny it yourself, because you know in your heart why you are doing this. But yeah, if you have a good motive, you just want to help some people, and just by using the social media, you want to help a lot of people, then that's a very good thing. Keep up, and get in touch with me. I might be also help you through some donations, I guess. And keep doing the good work. Keep spreading the love. Keep spreading the kindness, compassion in this world. And let peace be upon this world that is full of suffering. And let's get out of this samsaric world together. And thank you for listening to my today's podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed it and you got some knowledge from it. And if you have some questions, then to comment down below, or you can just ask me through my Insta or any other means if you would like, then especially if you do comment, then that will help me in algorithm also, and I will be able to just check out your questions and at least give your answers. And if you want to be in my podcast and talk about Buddhism or any other dharma, or any topic related to your life, death, anything, then you are most welcome. Just contact me and we can just do a podcast together. And thank you for being with me until now, and bye bye. Namo Buddhaya. May Buddha be with you, and may he guide you towards the liberation and out of this samsara. Namo Buddhaya.